Well, hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Crystalline. Now, let's see. Yes, right here. I don't remember what the last. I'm not completely sure where we were last time. There are a few patrons already frequenting the lobby, but no sign of my team. Oh, that's right. We were going to the second elemental temple, trying to figure out where it was, and then we ran into the delinquent Oliver Twist kids. Yes, stealing lamp crystals. Okay, I got this. I'm ready to go now. Let's do this. Kara said she was going to get an early start, but I'm not sure where everyone else went. We did say we'd meet back up here this evening, so I guess I'll see them then. I haven't gotten anything planned today though, so I'm just going to take it easy. I begin walking towards the town square. I follow my feet as they wander the streets, taking my time and enjoying the bustle of the town. I'd forgotten how relaxing it is to have nothing on the agenda.
Boy, boy.
Indeed. Eventually, we reach the square. I recognize the statue of Leanna. Oh, and there's a dog. A small brown dog, only a little larger than the Pongo, watches us. His tail wags slowly when he catches our attention. Well, let's pet the dog, right? Hey dog, are you lost? The dog wags his tail. I extend my hand and he cautiously approaches. After giving me a few good exploratory sniffs, he barks excitedly. Good boy! His tongue lolls out as I scratch behind his ears.
Boy!
The Pongo bounces angrily. The dog stares at the Pongo as if noticing him for the first time.
Boy, boy!
The Pongo pouts and jumps even higher. The dog cowers and whines. Pongo, what's up with you? I go to pet the dog, but the Pongo butts my hand away.
Boy, boy!
Are you jealous?
Boy!
I reach out a hand and pat the Pongo, who seems to calm down slightly. The dog perks up as the Pongo relaxes. He wags his tail as he nuzzles the Pongo.
Boy!
The Pongo bristles at the dog's touch and scrambles back.
Boy, boy!
He hops away, but the dog happily chases him. As the dog catches up, he licks the Pongo, who grimaces. Aw, he's playing with you.
Boy! Mocha!
A little girl races over to the dog, who barks excitedly at her presence. She throws her arms around him and holds him close as he licks her face.
I thought I lost you.
Aw. Suddenly, she notices the Pongo and her eyes grow wide.
Oh, you're so cute!
Aw, I thank you.
Boy?
She gently pats the Pongo on the head and his little frown melts into a smile.
Boy, boy. Are you lost too? Boy, boy!
He hops over to me. The girl looks me over, then smiles shyly. Oh.
Oh, hi.
Oh, that's right, she's a young girl. Hey, is that your dog? She nods.
Thanks for finding him for me. Sometimes he's too fast and I can't catch him.
Mocha sniffs around my feet and nudges my hand to be petted, but the Pongo bounces between us.
Boy!
The girl giggles and waves.
I guess we should be leaving. Bye-bye, little Pongo friend. Thanks for keeping Mocha company.
Aww. Bye. Before Mocha can escape again, the girl slips a leash around his collar, and the two of them gradually disappear from view. I look down at my Pongo, who looks back up at me. Okay, we'll put him on the shoulder, alright? I smile and pat his head affectionately. He squirms happily against me, then hops up onto my shoulder and nuzzles my face. How about we continue on that walk together, huh?
Hi!
Together, we head further into town. I decide to check out some of the storefronts and streets that I didn't get a chance to see yesterday. The Pongo wanders off whenever it gets too crowded, but he always seems to find his way back to me. After most of the day has passed, I decide it's time to return to the inn. Leanna, Amelia, and Zach are already there waiting. Leanna stands when I arrive.
Here, I got you something.
Aww. She passes me a gauntlet similar to the one on her wrist. The sphere inlaid is the same color as Leanna's. That must be a wind crystal. Is this a manipulator?
Yeah, I was thinking about your last attempt at casting, and I figured this might be more helpful with future training. Having the manipulator as a focal point of concentration is how Amelia and I learned to cast.
Thanks. Kara finally returns and the attention shifts to her.
The crystal pickup will happen soon. We should start heading over.
Leanna nods.
Once they complete the exchange, we should follow the guy to see if he leads us to their hideout. He might have other partners, so we should be on guard.
I still can't think of why they'd want these crystals.
Energy crystals have varying utilizations, some of which are outlawed.
Kara seems a bit surprised, but Leanna doesn't react to that. Thinking about what these outlawed utilizations could be makes me uneasy.
We have our plan. Let's get started.
We trace back to the ruins and find the abandoned house with the children. Instead of entering, we spread out around the perimeter to maximize visibility on anyone approaching. Kara and I stay close to the house and hide behind some fallen bricks. Our field of vision is limited, but we're close enough to overhear any conversations that take place inside. After we position ourselves, we wait. We don't know when the man's going to show up, and after about 20 minutes I start to get fidgety. Jeez, dude. Have some chill. I wish the kids had given us a time. Who knows how long we'll be stuck out here for. My legs are starting to cramp, but as I shift, Kara shoots me a warning glance and I force myself to push through it. Finally, a man approaches. He looks to be in his 20s, and surprisingly, wears something that resembles a beanie on his head. Kara yanks my collar so we duck down. She covers my mouth with her hand and puts a finger to her lips. It looks like our job is to listen in. The others will be our eyes. I hear a door creak, followed by the faint sound of footsteps.
Hey yo, you punks got my crystals or what?
Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. I listen for any extra footsteps, but it sounds like the man came solo.
Here.
There's a rustling of a bag being opened.
What is this? These crystals are weak, yo!
That's all we could find.
Nah, this ain't good, man.
Sorry.
The boy's voice is weak.
Huh.
The bag closes and the man grunts as he lifts it up.
Wait, where are our coins?
You'll get your payment when you deliver, yo. This is only half of what you promised.
There's a silence. I carefully peek out to see the boy straining with his hands clenched.
Fine.
That's what I thought.
The stranger lugs the bag over his shoulder. I quickly duck back down as he exits the house. Time to go. I turn to face Kara, who wears a serious frown and has fury in her eyes. I don't think I've ever seen her angry before, let alone this angry. She looks like she's about to rip that guy's head off. Kara?
Did you not see that? We should take him out now.
He could just be a messenger. We have to stick to the plan. Kara clenches and unclenches her jaw. Then she nods, still fuming.
I know you're right, but still.
He'll get his justice soon enough.
Let's hurry up and go.
All right. Yeah! We trail the man out of Stonecrest, making sure to stay behind buildings and keep to the shadows so as not to be spotted. Kara slips in and out of the alleys with ease, and it takes a lot of my concentration not to lose her. No wonder she's always sneaking up on us. I assume the rest of our team is also following him, as I'm unable to spot them. That's for the best. The less chance of being noticed, the better. Outside of the city gates, it's a little harder to stay hidden, as it opens out into a more open field. At least since we're spread out, it won't be easy for him to escape if he tries to. We successfully follow him to what looks like an abandoned train car. There's some kind of dark smoke emitting from the top. The man pauses and we crouch lower behind cover as he looks around. He doesn't spot any of us and enters the train. Kara again puts her finger to her lips and I nod. Staying low, we sneak towards the train. The windows are all blocked off, but we crouch below them anyway. I can hear muffled voices as I gently press my ear against the train.
Yo, Mr. White!
Jesse, how many times do I have to tell you to call me Heisenberg?
The man speaks softly, but his tone is strict and disapproving.
My bad, but I got some crystals.
Let's see.
There aren't many, and they're pretty small. I don't think we'd be able to get much out of them anyway.
It doesn't matter their size. Once we're done cooking them, they'll be exponentially more effective.
I don't know, man. They're tiny. How does that even work?
It's a simple matter of science.
You serious? You can do something like that?
Jesus,
Indeed.
dude.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yeah, science.
Heisenberg.
Oh, right. My bad, yo.
I hear faint clanging of glassware. I wish I could see what they're doing. A sharp snap cracks somewhere from behind me. What was that? I shift out of position to look behind me and see an animal scampering away. As I breathe a sigh of relief, I notice the absence of noise in the train.
What was that?
Before I have a chance to get down, one of the windows swing open and I'm face to face with both of them. The younger man with a beanie, Jesse, stares at me with wild eyes. The second man is much older, maybe the age of his father, and fixes me with an inscrutable stare. He looks surprisingly normal, not like someone who'd get mixed up with something shady. Jesse turns around and darts out of the back exit.
Run!
Mr. White joins him as Kara and I sprint to the other side of the train. Thankfully, Leanna and Zach are already there. Leanna points her blade at them.
Surrender and come with us peacefully.
Jesse looks like he's about to bolt, but Zach fixes his discharger on him.
I wouldn't move if I were you.
Crap, what do we do? Why are you laughing at a time like this?
Amelia stands a good distance away, her manipulators glowing. After looking over the old man, she frowns.
The branding of Void.
Quite the observation, young miss.
Wait, what? You're a part of Void?
Mr. White merely smiles.
I didn't sign up for this!
Don't be so naive. You think the crystals were just going to magically create more energy?
I mean, like, that's kind of what was going to happen. You were going to use magic and make them create more energy. That's exactly what was about to happen here. That is 100% the case, yes.
Your intent was to perform shadow transmutation on the crystals to create tainted spheres.
Again, he doesn't answer.
It appears confrontation is imminent.
Why don't we even up the odds?
With a flash, Mr. White grabs two shadowy spheres from his belt, similar to the one I saw in Raven Pass. He throws them to the ground and a dark smog emits, curling in the air. Leanna reacts first and blasts her wind magic to dissipate the smoke. In its place are two shadow creatures. Their warped appendages are nothing that I recognize, and their long shadow claws come into a sharp point. This is the stuff of nightmares. They stand between us and Mr. White, with Jesse cowering beside him.
Shadow familiars!
This is getting way too crazy for me. I'm out.
Jesse breaks into a sprint, and Kara immediately gives chase.
I've got him!
The two of them dash out of sight.
Unfortunately, you've disrupted my work, which means I have to start all over again. So, I'm going to get going.
He channels a spell and starts to run. As he continues to chant the spell, shadows crawl up his legs, threatening to engulf him completely in shadow. We can't let him get away! Leanna looks from the man to the familiars.
As much as I want to go after him, our top priority is to defeat these shadow creatures.
Indeed. Shadow familiars this close in proximity to a city can wreak havoc and incite widespread panic.
They would know better than I, and I trust their instincts. I look back at Heisenberg being swallowed by shadow. Once the shadows fade away, he disappears. Zach readies his dischargers, a small smile on his face.
Sounds like a challenge.
My heart races as I draw my blade. This is getting crazy. Alright, let's do this. Oh, crap! Oh. I'm an idiot. Alright. There we go. I never do them right the first try. Never. As Leanna, Zack, and I wear down the Shadow Familiars, Amelia stays out of range, charging her attacks. The magic attacks that she lets loose are far more powerful than ours as they rip chunks out of the shadow creatures. Now I understand why everyone's so impressed when they talk about mage casters.
The hostile shadow familiars have been vanquished.
Aww. Leanna's magical glow and the charge on her blade fade as she stops channeling her magic.
We did it!
I smile as I try to catch my breath. Looking around, Leanna, Zack, and Amelia look equally exhausted. They must have gone all out. This battle was no walk in the park, and there were only 2 Shadow Familiars to fight. Imagine if we had to face an army of them. I shiver at the thought. As we wind down, Amelia and Leanna gather to do one last scan with their manipulators. Zack looks over my way.
Looks like some of that training is finally paying off.
Let's see. I'm still mad at you for shooting. Hope to get even stronger. And I intend to keep training.
Good.
Hey!
Yeah. We turn at the sound of Kara's voice. She waves at us with one hand as she uses the other to drag Jesse back. She plops him down in front of us and he falls ungracefully to the ground. I see that his hands are bound. Kara stands over him, her face grim.
Now, you're going to tell us exactly what you know.
I don't know jack squat. Mr. White was paying me to get crystals, and that's it, yo.
Yo?
So you were not an accomplice to the shadow transmutation.
I don't even know what the shadow transportation is.
Transmutation.
Exactly.
We glare at him.
Look, I made a few deliveries to him. The first couple of times he wouldn't tell me what he did, but paid some good coin. But later he said he was going to show me so I could help with his operations. He was going to give solid pay for that too, yo.
I look him up and down. He stares desperately at us and it's clear to me he's scared. This doesn't seem like the kind of man Void would trust with any kind of responsibilities. I'm inclined to believe he's just looking for some fast cash. Kara seems skeptical, but Amelia and Leanna seem to have come to the same conclusion I have. Zack crosses his arms.
Better hope the guards believe your story.
Jesse looks like he's about to protest, but sighs instead. I think he realizes there's no chance he's going to escape.
The bag of stolen crystals is in there. He didn't grab it before running out.
Leanna enters the train and returns with a bulging bag.
Let's go turn him into the guards. They'll take it from here.
Zack hauls Jesse back to his feet and leads him back towards town. Luckily, it's late at night, so very few people walk the street. The few who do give us long stares as we pass. When we arrive at the guard barracks, the person on duty gets to his feet. He looks at Leanna in recognition.
Oh, it's you again.
Indeed.
We found the source of your missing crystals.
Zack pushes Jesse forward and he stumbles into the guard, who grabs a hold of him. The guard eyes him up and down.
It's this guy?
Oh man, it was all 'cause of Void!
The guard stares at him, clearly unconvinced.
Uh-huh. Maybe in lockup you'll have time to think up a better story.
I'm telling you the truth, bitch!
Wow. Okay. The guard frowns and passes Jesse off to another guard who takes him into the back. Then the guard turns back to us.
Hopefully you won't have any more issues.
The guard grins and looks
I
relieved.
can't thank you all enough. You have no idea how much of a thorn in my side this has all been. As promised, there's a reward for helping us catch the culprit.
Oh yeah. He produces a heavy satchel of gold which he hands over to us.
Thanks again for all your help, and I hope you have a safe night.
He just had that lying around, huh? Okay.
Thanks.
We leave the guardhouse and equally divvy up the reward money. As everything settles down, the group decides to return to the inn. I'm glad we got to the bottom of things, but I can't help but wonder what will happen to those kids. Aw, let me share my reward with them. I'll meet you guys at the inn. I think I forgot something. I slip away before anyone can ask me any questions and make my way back to those kids. They were dependent on that crystal money to survive, and I can't sit by and do nothing to help them. I know I don't have much to offer, but maybe giving them a cut of my reward can help tide them over. I don't know, getting how many of us are there? 5? Yeah, 5 of us. Giving them, even if I just give them half of my 1/5 of a satchel of gold, that should be pretty good. Quietly, I enter the house so as not to spook the children. Yeah, creeping in there is much better than just walking in, yeah. As I near the trapdoor, I hear Kara's voice. How did she get here so fast? And what is she doing here? Slowing my steps, I silently creep towards the trapdoor and spy on Kara and the kids.
Here you go, guys. Take this.
She hands the oldest boy a fat coin purse. We must have had the same idea about sharing our reward money. The boy silently accepts it, too shocked by the amount of money to even speak.
The man won't be coming for crystals anymore, so use that to help you find a new way to survive.
The boy nods numbly. Some of the younger children huddle together, clearly frightened for their futures. Kara smiles reassuringly.
I know it seems scary, but I promise if you stick together, you'll be fine.
The kids hug each other.
I won't let anything happen to anyone.
No? Okay.
Good. I know you won't. Take care of yourselves, okay?
And stay out of trouble. Sorry, I clicked too fast. Kara turns to leave and I scramble out of sight. She doesn't notice me as she hurries away. It seems like she's got a soft spot for these kids. I better do what I came here to do and get back before people get too suspicious. Hey kids. I go down into the trap room. The oldest boy looks up at me in surprise. Here. I toss him a small bag of my coins which he fumbles before catching. He looks genuinely surprised, as if he can't believe it's happening.
But why?
If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have caught the bad guys. You kids were a big help.
Really?
He looks at the other children who give him hopeful eyes. Then he grins.
Thank you.
I nod. I should be getting back. Once I return to the upstairs, I hear the children scramble below and a series of excited gasps as they inspect the reward money.
Wow, the girl gave us so much!
I've never seen so much money before in my life!
The boy still gave a lot, though. More than we got from crystals.
Whoa, just how much money did Kara give? Was it her whole reward? For a treasure hunter, that seems very generous. Maybe there's more to it. I wonder what it could be as I return to the inn and meet up with the rest of the group. As I enter the inn, Leanna looks around.
Where's Kara?
Kara's not back yet? But she left before me. I don't know. I thought she was following everyone back.
I thought so too.
Leanna bites her lip and furrows her brows. I'm sure she'll be back soon. While we wait for Kara to return, we decide to grab something to eat. With all of the excitement going on, we forgot about dinner. We get our orders and settle in. Zach and Leanna dig in. Amelia, on the other hand, is quiet as she stares at her plate. Is she okay? Amelia? She looks up at me.
Yes?
Something wrong? She shakes her head.
No. I was pondering about the lab at the Void Hideout, which was used to perform shadow transmutations.
I've been meaning to ask, what is this shadow transmutation you were talking about earlier?
It is the process in which shadow energy is merged with a crystal containing another form of elemental energy. This fusion causes an overwhelming surge of energy to spawn, which consequently destabilizes the crystal and causes the shadow energy to become uncontrollable and very dangerous.
This is what we refer to as a tainted sphere, like the one the treasurer used in Raven Pass, and what was used to summon the shadow familiars.
It didn't seem uncontrollable when they used it, though.
Perhaps not those times. However, as it is destabilized sphere, the energy is unpredictable. It's possible it will cast properly, but equally possible it will implode upon itself at any time, which would be fatal to the mage in possession of it.
That's a best-case scenario. Imagine if one of those crystals went off and spawned a shadow familiar in the middle of town.
That would definitely be bad.
That's why shadow transmutation has been outlawed, even before the Treaty of Asaria.
I thought you said all use of shadow magic was banned.
Yes, but there were legitimate users of shadow magic before the war.
You lost me. How is that
Shadow
hard?
magic is not innately harmful. It was originally used in non-destructive ways, just like any other element. That being said, a group of practitioners abused the usage of shadow magic, which revealed just how dangerous it can be when used in such a manner. That is what caused the eventual war in Assyria and the subsequent banning of shadow magic.
And that group was Void?
Correct.
Things are starting to make a little more sense, but I'm still not sure I understand it all.
It's just a little troublesome to think that there was someone performing shadow transmutation just on the outskirts of Stonecrest, and with a lot of crystals too.
Even though Void was defeated, it wasn't completely wiped out, and their remaining members have just been laying low.
Amelia and Leanna nod. The conversation lulls as we think about what was said. We finish the rest of our food in silence. By the time we finish up our meals, Kara returns.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I met up with my contact and he came through. He said that there's some adventurer who's been talking about one of those high concentrations of energy. He's at Earth Point right now, but probably won't be staying for too long. We should head there in the morning and see what he knows.
What's the guy's name?
Arton Hunt.
Zack shrugs. I guess he doesn't know him.
It might sound like just a rumor, but there's always a grain of truth in a rumor. At the very least, we should be able to get a clue or two.
Leanna nods.
Okay, tomorrow we'll head for Hearth Point.
Amelia nods. I yawn widely. Tonight, though, I'm ready for bed. The team murmurs their agreement and we all turn in early. It's been a long day, and that fight really took it out of me. After getting ready, I climb into bed and immediately fall into a deep sleep. The next morning, I wake up with a wide yawn. My body aches from the fight, but otherwise I feel very rested. I gather my things and meet the group downstairs for a quick breakfast. Then we begin our journey to Hearth Point. After traveling all morning, we decide to stop and rest for a while. The sun shines overhead in the sky and there's a soft breeze to balance out the warmth of the day. Zack claims a spot in the shade of a tree where he cleans out his dischargers, and Amelia and Kara rummage through the packs to pass around water. Leanna approaches me.
Since we're taking a break, would you be up for some magic training? We can go into the clearing so you aren't just out on the open road.
Ooh, finally some alone time together. No. I grin. You know, if you wanted to be alone with me, you only had to ask. Leanna blinks.
I did ask.
Well, she's got me there. Then yes, I'd love to be alone with you. She looks a bit uncertain.
Train for magic.
Yes, she smiles. I follow her to a little alcove off of the path. We're far enough that passers-by won't get a good view of me, but not far enough that we lose sight of the rest of the team.
The actual process is a bit tricky. You have to channel the energy out of the crystal, then concentrate on the process of shaping it, refining the energy into something you can use. So to do that, you need to concentrate on the crystal's form, and use your mind to alter it.
I'm not sure I got all that. She pauses to think.
Okay, you have a manipulator now, so instead of trying to channel the energy from stored within you, try to concentrate on channeling through the manipulator.
I look down at the manipulator on my wrist. Alright, so I can channel the energy from this crystal?
Exactly! Like this.
Leanna holds out her manipulator. It pulses softly with a blue light, and then a small burst of wind erupts from the manipulator. Okay, I'll give it a go. I stare hard at my manipulator, trying to focus on the energy of the crystal. I scrunch up my face in concentration, but nothing seems to work.
Just concentrate on the energy. Let go of your distractions.
Let go of my distractions. I try to clear my mind, but all I can think about is how nothing seems to be happening. It's not working.
That's okay. Keep trying. It's always hardest your first time.
I think through Leanna's explanation again. Is there something I've missed? Trying again, I concentrate, focusing on the energy. But nothing happens. This isn't working.
Don't give up. Try again. Just focus on that energy and use the manipulator to channel it.
I know you've said that before, but it doesn't make sense to me. Leanna runs her hand through her hair as she frowns.
Don't know how else to put it. Once you get it, you'll know. You just have to keep concentrating and trying.
That's really not helpful, but I take a deep breath to calm myself down. It's not Leanna's fault, and she's being very patient. Is it just me? Why am I not getting it? I'll just keep trying until I get it right. Leanna hasn't given up on me, so I shouldn't give up on myself either. I have to keep trying. My face flushes as I try to find the energy of the crystal, but I'm still unsuccessful. Leanna looks concerned at the sweat beading on my temple.
Are you okay?
I sigh heavily. This is hopeless.
It just takes practice.
I can tell Leanna wants to stay positive, but her words feel flat. This is taking a toll on her, too. I don't know what else to do. She frowns as she thinks. Then she shakes her head with a sigh.
How about we take a break for now? Maybe if you have a chance to think about it a little more, you'll have more success next time.
I half-heartedly shrug. Sure. I try to keep the skepticism out of my voice, but Leanna seems just as skeptical as we return to the group. Kara, Zach, and Amelia are ready for us when we get back. After I have a chance to rehydrate and grab a quick bite to eat, we continue on our way. The rest of our journey goes far more smoothly than my training. As the sun dips low in the sky, we decide to rest for the night. After securing a well-covered area, we get to work setting up camp. Leanna disappears to gather firewood while Zach rummages through the supplies, prepping for dinner. Kara secures our perimeter. I roll out my sleeping roll and Amelia does the same. As she sets down her things, the Pongo plushie from before falls onto the grass. Amelia carefully rights it, then continues to unpack. The Pongo jiggles up to the plushie and greets it excitedly.
Boy, boy!
The plushie makes no reaction, but the Pongo is undeterred.
Boy! Boy, boy!
Again, the plushie doesn't respond. The Pongo deflates, and his face falls.
Boy?
Amelia furrows her brow, then subtly touches her manipulator. The Pongo plushie suddenly bobs to life as a thin layer of water pools underneath.
Boy?
Amelia tries not to move her lips.
Boy.
The Pongo's eyes grow wide and he beams.
Boy, boy!
Boy.
The plushie bobs again and the Pongo squishes against it as if in a hug. Amelia cracks a small smile, which disappears when she meets my gaze. She clears her throat and returns to fiddling with her things. I pretend like I didn't see anything. I go help Leanna find more kindle. When we return with the firewood, we get a fire started. Zach pulls out a simple pot and a few basic ingredients. Then he gets to work. Soon, the fragrance of cooked meat makes my mouth water. Kara wanders over to the fire.
That smells amazing. What is it?
She reaches for one of the skewers, but Zach's expression makes her pause.
It's not done yet.
She pouts and continues to eye the food. After some time, a very appetizing aroma fills the air. Zach removes the skewers from the fire and scoops porridge into bowls.
All right, it's done.
He hands a bowl to each of us, then settles down as we dig in. I bite into the juicy meat and let the taste linger on my tongue. It's smoky and tender, a perfect barbecue. Kara savors the bite.
Oh, I didn't know camp food could taste this good.
Zach shrugs.
It's nothing special.
We've been doing this all wrong. No more rotating cooking duty. I vote we have Zach cook for us every night.
Zach turns his head away and lets his hair fall over his face.
You don't have to make a big deal out of this.
Let me be his wingman. I second that vote. Seriously, Zach, I don't even know what this meat is, and I don't care because I want it in my belly. You are a man of many talents. Kara looks at Zach with a soft smile on her face. I think she's impressed.
That's weird, man.
What? No, dude. I stare at Zach, who's entirely focused on me and completely unaware of Kara. This guy is pretty dense.
I wonder what other talents you're hiding.
Oh. He shrugs.
It's okay, I'll find them all out sooner or later.
Zach doesn't respond, but begins to gather the empty bowls.
Seriously though, nobody's cooking can compare. Especially not mine.
Zach pauses.
I enjoyed it.
Kara blinks.
Really?
He offers a short nod.
It's not bad.
Zach looks up and meets her gaze. Kara's grin widens, and a small blush creeps into her cheeks. Yes! It's finally happening. This is my cue to leave. I quietly slip away and go sit down at the edge of the campsite. Leanna sits down beside me with a small smile. I feel her hesitate before she speaks.
So, magic training today.
Yeah.
I know today wasn't quite what you expected, but after more practice you'll get it.
I know she's trying to be encouraging, but this is really the last thing I want to talk about. The thought of having to go through that again fills me with dread. When do you think the next practice should be?
Honestly, every day.
Oh no. I swallow the groan that threatens to come out, but I can't hold back my dismay. Every day? Leanna forces a smile.
Casting is not easy, and it really takes as much practice as possible. With us traveling to the next temple, this is the best way to get you to learn quickly.
She looks away, and I see her smile drop. Leanna's clearly as excited about this as I am, but she's trying hard to pretend like that's not the case. I can respect that and appreciate that she's trying. Well, then I hope next time will be more productive than this time. Leanna tries to sound more chipper than she is.
Like I said, nobody can cast their first time. It's something I had to work on for weeks before I was able to even manipulate a light breeze.
Yeah, because you were like 11. Well, at least it's not just me. Actually, hearing that even Leanna had trouble is more comforting than I thought. She's such a talented caster now that it gives me a bit of hope. I smiled genuinely. You're right. I'm sure with practice I'll get it. Leanna's mood lifts, and she returns my smile.
That's the spirit.
Leanna looks up at the sky.
We should probably get some rest. It's another early start tomorrow.
As Leanna says that, I feel a yawn coming on. That sounds like a good idea. The others are winding down too. Zach stays up to take the first watch. As Leanna heads over to her bedroll, I crawl into mine and try to ignore the hardness of the ground. Eventually, I fall asleep. We wake up in the morning and break down the camp. Then we resume our journey. After traveling for most of the day, we finally end up at Hearth Point. This is where Art and Hunt is, supposedly. I think I'm finally getting used to all the walking as my legs, although tired, don't feel sore.
We'll need to find this person quickly. Adventurers aren't known for sticking around in one spot for very long.
Let's not waste any time then.
Amelia nods.
I propose we begin our investigation at the taverns.
Taverns?
Yes, there are 2 taverns in Hearth Point. One over there,
She points to a building by the entrance.
and another one facing northeast from the second gate.
Kara seems a little surprised by how much Amelia knows about this town. She probably had to study the geography of Havengard and read all about all of the surrounding towns and villages.
We don't have too much daylight left.
He's right. The sun sets the sky ablaze as it dips closer to the horizon.
Let's split up. We'll be able to cover more ground that way. If one tavern is a dead end, then check the other. If he's not in either place, then we'll meet back here.
I concur with this plan. Any objections?
I object! Oh, no one speaks up, never mind.
Then let us proceed.
Zach, Amelia, and Kara start heading towards the nearest tavern.
Wait!
They look back at us.
We didn't talk about how the group is being split.
Kara smirks.
I think it's quite obvious.
Leanna blinks at me as the group resumes walking.
What does that mean?
Aw, we're a couple, of course. Ah, who cares? We have a job to do. Ignoring her comment, I start making my way to our destination.
Hey!
Leanna quickens her pace to catch up with me. It's a brief walk through town before we reach the place. As we push the door open, the warm smell of bread wafts through the air, bringing with it a chorus of laughter. The tables are full of men and women sharing food and pints. The place has a cozy feel, and as we look around, I feel comfortable and welcome.
So, Kara mentioned Arton has an eye patch.
She pauses as she glances at the patrons.
We should split up and see if we spot him.
I nod. Sounds like a plan. We separate and begin our search. I slowly walk around the tavern looking for anyone with an eye patch. As I begin to lose hope that he's here, I spot a man sitting alone. He's scribbling furiously in a notebook, but more importantly, an eye patch covers one eye. Finally, a lead! I hurry over to him. As I get close, I notice he's drawing a map. He stops and looks up at me.
What do you want?
His tone is gruff, but he doesn't seem hostile. Are you Arton Hunt? He sizes me up.
What of it?
I heard that you found an area of high energy. He continues to stare at me. I was wondering if you could share that information. He waves a hand dismissively.
It's not something to be shared.
I can pay you for it. He frowns.
You can't just buy the experience of discovery. Coins are merely a construct of human greed, and you need to absolve yourself of materialistic reliance to transcend.
Whatever that means. Will you at least tell me where it is? He glares at me.
I'd like to get back to my work, and you're taking up my time.
My God. He taps his pen impatiently on the table.
Do you mind?
It looks like I've annoyed the guy. I doubt he'll say anything now. Thanks anyway. I leave the man alone and search for Leanna instead. I find her with the rest of our party and approach them.
Arden wasn't at the other tavern, but we heard that he's here.
He is. Everyone turns to face me.
Did you find him?
I nod. Yeah, he's back there. I point to the back tables, but it seems like he's not the sharing type. I even offered to pay and he still refused to talk. Leanna's face falls and Amelia and Zack seem discouraged. Only Kara remains optimistic.
Great, you've done the hard work for us.
Zack stares at her.
Did you just miss the part about how that guy won't talk even for money?
Finding the target is the difficult part. Getting information out of him is just a matter of being tactful.
Kara winks. Zack cracks his knuckles and grins.
I get you. We're finally on the same page.
I didn't mean beat the information out of him.
Oh no, we gonna do this. Zack frowns.
You just have to give him an appealing reason to loosen his lips.
Are you proposing to exploit his humanistic need to procreate with an attractive maid as a guise to extract the needed information?
If you mean flirt with him to find out what we need to know, then yes.
What a cunning method. I approve.
We all stare at Amelia. You do? She nods. That was unexpected.
Who shall be executing this plan?
Okay. Let's go with Kara. Are you up for the job, Kara? Kara grins.
I thought you'd never ask.
Aww. She heads towards the target, swaying her hips alluringly. Leanna looks on with amazement.
She turned it on just like that?
Seems like she's not the only thing turned on. I shift my attention to Zack, who very obviously stares at Kara's derriere.
Zack!
Zack snaps back to reality and his face flushes when he notices all of us looking.
What? I wasn't staring.
No accusation was made. Yet your defensive disposition is quite revealing of your intent.
Wow, Amelia. Zack coughs and crosses his arms as he looks away.
You're thinking too much into this.
We watch Kara working her magic. She engages Arton and at one point even gets him to laugh. She scoots closer to him and rests a hand on his arm. Things seem to be going well. As the conversation continues, Arton suddenly shakes his head and dismisses Kara. She tries to laugh off the dismissal and re-engage him in conversation, but he looks back down at his page and continues drawing. Still stunned, she slowly makes her way back to us.
I don't understand.
Her eyes glaze over in disbelief.
It would appear Kara was unsuccessful.
Okay, well. Leanna. Leanna looks surprised.
Me?
Wait, did you want me to pick Amelia? No. Kara masks a chuckle as Zack snickers. Leanna frowns.
What's with that reaction?
Kara smiles.
Oh, don't get me wrong, you're cute. But I'm not sure you've got the personality needed for this type of thing.
Leanna frowns.
And what's that supposed to mean?
You're a bit shy.
I can be plenty forward.
Kara and Zack burst out laughing.
As if you fared any better.
Kara's smile drops.
It's always worked before.
Leanna looks at Amelia.
You think I can do it, right?
Amelia studies Leanna.
I must admit that your propriety does not lend well to the suggestion that you could entice the desired sexual attention.
Leanna crosses her arms and pouts.
Even you, Amelia?
Aw, okay. How about you show one of us what you've got? If you're successful, you can try.
Fine.
Kara points to me.
There's your target. What are you going to do?
Leanna's cheeks tinge slightly as she meets my eyes. I have a strange feeling in my stomach. She takes a deep breath to gather her thoughts, then flashes me a determined look. She oversways her hips as she walks over to me. The movement is too exaggerated and makes her look like she doesn't even know how to walk.
Oh,
She stammers as she tries to speak, almost as if the words elude her.
Hey there, sailor.
I look at her blankly.
What?
What?
Despite having an attractive figure and aesthetically pleasing features, it is now abundantly clear why Leanna has been unable to acquire a companion.
Wow.
Amelia!
At this rate, the only companion she'll be acquiring is a house full of cats.
Zack nods in agreement.
You guys are so mean.
Leanna pouts. I didn't think it was so bad. Leanna shakes her head.
You're only saying that to make me feel better.
Aww. Before I can say any more, Amelia speaks.
I believe we should nominate someone else.
Leanna crosses her arms but doesn't protest. Guys? Okay. How about Amelia?
Wow.
What's wrong with you?
Guys, what? Leanna shoots me a disapproving look.
She's just a kid.
Kara folds her arms and looks at me just as disapprovingly as
I
Leanna.
never thought you'd turn out to be such a creep.
Guys, she's the only option you had left for me, okay? This is not on me. This is on the game designers, okay? So maybe dial back the sass. Amelia blinks in surprise.
I believe you are mistaken about my age.
Amelia's words fall on deaf ears as the girls continue to give me death glares. Okay, maybe not Amelia. Let's try that again. That's everyone then.
Regrettably, all of our options for this plan are exhausted.
Great. What are we going to do now? Kara suddenly looks around.
Wait, where did Zack go?
We search frantically for him before spotting him beside Arton.
Oh no, we'll get in trouble with the city guards if he is...
To everyone's surprise, Arton's face is deep red as he coyly looks away. He giggles as he hands something to Zack. Zack accepts the parchment and nods at him, then heads back to us. Arton looks longingly after Zack's retreating form. Oh, hello.
Here.
He hands Kara the parchment. She opens it up to reveal a map of the neighboring forest. There's a sinewy path drawn in to indicate where pockets of high energy readings are. Kara looks from Zach to the map and back to Zach.
But how did you get this?
Zach shrugs. Kara continues to stare at Zach. This time she seems less surprised and more impressed? Well, at least we have what we need. I'm relieved that someone was able to get Arton to crack, but how did Zach pull it off? And without it coming to blows, no less. I shake my head. I guess some mysteries will never be solved. I glance outside at the darkened sky. It's getting a little late. Do you think we should stay here for the night, or should we head out?
We wouldn't be able to make much progress. May as well spend the night here and get a fresh start in the morning.
Alright. Amelia stands.
Now that our business has concluded, I must take my leave.
Everyone stares at her.
Where are you going?
I have an obligation I must fulfill.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say it sounded like you're meeting someone.
You are correct. It will not take long, and I will be ready to rejoin you in the morning.
As Amelia turns to leave, Zach stops her.
Are you sure you should go alone?
Amelia raises an eyebrow.
Surely my parents would mean me no harm.
Parents?
Yes. They would be very upset if I were to pass through without visiting them.
You have family here and didn't tell us?
I did not see the relevance.
Don't you want to see them?
To visit them is currently the obligation that I am going to fulfill.
Good. Let's get to it then.
Kara gets to her feet and pushes Amelia towards the exit.
I do not understand.
We're going to meet your parents.
Aww. Before Amelia can protest, Kara has already led her out the door. The rest of us trail behind. Amelia sighs.
Very well.
Amelia, Zach, and Kara walk ahead as Leanna and I follow. Leanna has a strange expression on her face I can't quite read.
What do you think her parents are like?
Logical and rational. Well, we'll find out. No point in guessing. We'll find out soon enough.
I have a feeling she'll be different from her parents. She grew up at the university and didn't get to spend as much time at home. Most of her behaviors were probably learned from there.
It sounds like Amelia's childhood was a lot more serious than the average child. I wonder if that's why she acted so casually about her parents. Going to see them almost sounded like a chore she had to knock out. We pause in front of a modest house. There's a small garden in the front yard, and a few flower pots line the stoop. Amelia steps up to the door and knocks. Don't you have a key? She looks back at me.
I do. However, it is back at the academy. I did not anticipate our travels would lead us to Hearth Point.
The door swings open and an older woman stands in the doorway. Her face has fine lines which reveal her age, but her smile is warm and kind. Her eyes light up when she sees Amelia and she draws her into a tight hug.
Amy! What a pleasant surprise! I didn't know you were stopping by.
Kara grins at the use of a nickname. Amelia doesn't react to her mother's embrace and almost seems to wait out the hug. Eventually, her mother lets go, then turns back towards the house.
Honey, Amy's come home!
A faint voice calls out from within the house.
Amy? Be right there.
Her mom turns back to Amelia and hugs her again.
Oh, we missed you so much.
Suddenly, she seems to notice the rest of us. She quickly lets Amelia go and ushers all of us inside.
Amy, did you bring friends? Come in, come in!
We murmur our thanks as we shuffle into the house. The walls are painted with light colors, giving the house a bright and cheerful air. We convene in the sitting room where we sit on the couch and chairs. The upholstery is clean but has definitely seen a lot of use. Amelia's father arrives. He pushes his glasses back up onto his nose and breaks into a wide smile. He also scoops Amelia into his arms.
What an unexpected pleasure.
After he sets her down, he stands beside his wife.
Hello, Mother. Father.
You know that we love seeing you, but what are you doing out at the university? It isn't a holiday.
Her mother leans forward in her seat.
Oh, was your little field study finally approved? That's wonderful! Remember what I said about how each rejection is just one step closer to success. I just knew you were bound to get one, even if it took all those tries and applications.
All those tries? How many times did she apply? Although Amelia doesn't speak, her cheeks turn red.
Honey, let's not embarrass her in front of her peers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got so excited. She's been trying for almost a year now.
She turns excitedly towards Leanna.
You must be the field lead.
Leanna looks bewildered.
Yes, that is correct.
Leanna shoots Amelia a questioning glance, which Amelia ignores. Her parents beam wider as they look on their daughter with pride. Her mom has her hand over her heart, and her dad nods approvingly.
It's nice to see you're still working hard at your studies.
We're very proud of you, sweetie. But what sort of mission is this? I should think you would be the apprentice of another mage or a mage caster, rather than a mage knight.
Leanna is part of the Mage Guild.
So it's an internship with the Mage Guild? That's very prestigious.
He puffs with pride.
I see.
Her mother's face softens as she addresses Leanna.
We entrust our daughter to you. Please take good care of her.
No promises. Leanna pauses, but as she looks at the hopefulness on Amelia's parents' face, she returns their smile.
I promise I will.
Once the attention drifts away from her, I notice her gaze linger on Amelia's parents. She furrows her brow in pensive thought.
And what about the rest of you?
Kara grins.
I assist with locating and exploring ancient sites.
The parents seem intrigued.
We have been following instances of magical anomalies in an attempt to understand and explain their occurrences.
Of course, of course.
Yes, of course. His gaze lands on Zack.
You look more like a fighter rather than a mage.
Zack nods.
What exactly is your role in this group?
Before Zack responds, Kara steps in.
Oh, he's my companion. He helps me secure our sites and, well...
She grabs his arm and flashes him a coy smile. Zack stares at Kara and her hand on his arm.
Hands off.
She laughs slightly and presses herself closer to him.
Oh, you don't need to be shy. Just pretend it's just you and me.
Zack's scowl deepens. As he twists himself away from her, a blush tinges his cheeks. Amelia's dad chuckles.
Say no more. I remember what it was like to be young.
Zack's blush deepens. Kara watches his discomfort with amusement. Finally, his gaze lands on me.
And what about you?
I'm a student. I'm also a student who is trying to discover more about the anomalies. That's technically not a lie. Her parents nod.
Amy, will you and your friends stay for dinner?
We would not wish to impose upon you any further. We can return to the inn.
The inn? Oh, nonsense. You can all stay here for the night. We certainly have enough room.
Yes, we insist. I'll get started on dinner and afterwards you can all relax. Come with me, Amy.
If that is what you wish.
Amelia obliges as they start towards the kitchen.
That's wonderful. It's so nice to have you home. And we never get to meet any of your friends. In fact, you're all the first one she's brought home.
Really?
Kara glances sideways at Amelia, who remains stoic.
I hope she's not giving you any trouble. She's always been a bit hot-blooded.
Uh-huh. This time we all look at Amelia.
Are you sure we're talking about the same person?
She laughs and the two of them head into the kitchen. We continue to chat as we wait for dinner to be ready. Her father is enthusiastic and shares fun facts about the town. He's a tailor and offers to patch up any clothes for us. Dinner is a simple but delicious meal and we all clean our plates. Amelia's mom seems pleased.
Would anyone care for seconds?
Both Leanna and Zack take a second helping. Leanna piles her plate up with food until it's even fuller than Zack's plate. As she digs in, Kara watches enviously.
Where does it all go?
She looks at Kara questioningly.
You have such a healthy appetite, yet you're still so slim.
This has the potential to go horribly wrong. Contrary to my fears, Leanna smiles coyly.
You think so? I'm just lucky, I guess.
Rather than luck, I would attribute it to the constant wind resistance you admit during your travels and activities.
Are you saying she farts a lot? Is that what we're getting at here? Leanna looks surprised and nervous.
What?
Amelia raises an eyebrow.
I can detect a constant energy utilization from your manipulator, which is creating wind friction.
Leanna interrupts with loud laughter, but her face is bright red.
You're thinking way too much into this, Amelia. It's probably just, magic residue you're detecting.
Amelia gives Leanna an unimpressed look, as if to say that was the silliest excuse she's heard. We definitely can't use this one. Okay, let's see. Well, that's smart. That's genius. I hadn't even considered using magic like that.
I don't believe this is a common application of energy utilization.
Kara smiles.
So that's your secret.
Leanna nervously picks at her food.
Anyway, this is really, really good. What is it?
With a change in subject, the mood relaxes and the conversation naturally flows. Zack and Amelia's dad found a common interest. Although he's a tailor, he takes a special interest in restoring weapons.
Actually, weapons are a specialty of mine too.
Your dischargers, I did notice that. They're a bit unusual, aren't they? I haven't seen too many with those types of crystals.
It served me well.
Amelia's dad pauses as he observes Zack.
Come on, son, lighten up a bit. No need to be so formal here. Why don't you try cracking a smile? You don't have to look so doom and gloom all the time.
Zack merely stares at him until Kara elbows him.
Oh, come on, companion. You don't want to be rude, do you? Especially after you've already helped yourself to this delicious meal. Twice.
Wow. Zack sighs in resignation. He pauses and seems to collect himself. Kara watches, amused at his display. After taking a few long breaths, he looks up with determination. Reluctantly, he curls up the corners of his lips and exposes his teeth in an awkward grimace smile hybrid. His eyes almost seem to be calling for help, as if holding this smile is causing him pain. So if any of you have seen, the extended cut or the deleted scenes from Terminator 2 Judgment Day, they do this to Schwarzenegger, and it looks very similar to this. Everyone recoils from his look, except for Kara, who blushes.
Oh, wow, that's really hot.
We all exchange confused glances as Zack drops his smile. Kara leans over to him and lowers her voice.
I hope we get to see that again. Soon.
We all look at each other in confusion.
Well then, that was certainly interesting.
The group laughs and the conversation flows again. Kara enjoyed every minute of the night, chatting amicably with Amelia's mother. Leanna stayed quiet and spent most of her time just observing. Although she had a smile on her face, it seemed like there was something else on her mind. Amelia didn't talk much, preferring to let her parents do the talking, but she seemed very comfortable and relaxed. I can tell that even though they don't get to see each other very often, they have a good relationship. Once dinner was over, Amelia's parents insisted on washing up and asked Amelia to show us to our rooms. She leads us to the back of the house where there are 2 rooms and pauses in front of the first door.
This is my childhood room. We 3 will share this room.
She points to the door down the hall.
That is the spare room. You 2 may stay there.
Are you certain it's all right for us to stay tonight? I don't want to cause any trouble for your parents. They've already been so accommodating.
My parents are quite happy to receive guests. It would be an insult to refuse their invitation.
Okay.
Leanna seems uncertain, but Kara throws her arm around her affectionately.
Don't worry, tonight will be super fun. We'll braid each other's hair, play truth or dare, and of course, pillow fights.
Of course. Amelia cocks her head to the side.
Is that what roommates do?
Definitely.
Amelia looks at Leanna, who seems equally confused.
While we roomed together previously, we did not accomplish any of these tasks.
I'm just learning about this now, too.
Trust me, you'll love what I have planned.
Kara laughs and pushes the girls into the room. She winks at us.
Girls only.
Then she closes the door firmly behind her. Why do I always get the feeling we're missing out?
Because we probably are.
A shriek of laughter filters through the doorway, followed by giggles.
Oh my god, don't squirm so much! Stop! I'm really ticklish there! I got it off. Hey! Give it back!
Whoa. We overhear even more squeals and giggles. My mind wanders as my imagination paints an alluring picture of what is going on behind that door. Zach's stoic stare seems too intense.
Stop! No way. Well, if that's how you want to play.
We hear a gust of wind from behind the door.
What? No fair, you're using magic!
After Kara yelps, Zach's stony expression finally cracks.
What is going on in there?
They're just messing with us. They're purposely doing this just to get a reaction out of us. That's the only explanation. Another fit of laughter floats through the door. Right? Zach seems uncertain. I glance down at my feet and see the Pongo staring forlornly at the door. You wish you were in there too? He hops closer to the door. When no one lets him in, he lowers his head. I'm sorry, buddy, but it's girls only tonight. As if on cue, the door cracks open. Amelia's pigtails peek out as she reaches for the Pongo.
There you are. You are needed for science.
The last thing I see is the Pongo's wide grin as the door slams shut behind him. Zach sighs.
Let's just go.
Zach heads into the room and I follow. We mill about the room awkwardly, and I swear I can hear the seconds tick by. This feels a lot less exciting than the other room. Let's have a pillow fight. Just go to sleep. Zach is already getting ready for bed. I don't really feel like bonding, not that Zach is eager to bond either. So I start to get ready too. As I crawl into bed, I count the seconds before exhaustion finally hits me, and I fall asleep. A noise wakes me up and I sit up in bed. The moon is high in the sky, casting silver light through the window. Zach remains fast asleep. I don't see anything else, so I lay back down and close my eyes, trying to go back to sleep. Instead, I toss and turn in bed as uneasy thoughts creep in. I try to clear my mind, but as soon as I begin to lose concentration, wiggles of doubt worm into my brain. What if I never learn how to cast? What if I can't gather enough energy? What if this energy kills me? What if I can't go home? As that last thought crosses my mind, I throw off my blankets in frustration. I need some fresh air. Tiptoeing past a sleeping Zach, I creep out of the room and fumble my way around the dark living room. I recognize Leanna leaning on the balcony. I head over towards her. She smiles at me as I approach. Couldn't sleep? She nods. It did sound like you girls were having a lot of fun. Leanna blushes.
Cora got my boot off, so I was only returning the favor.
We smile as the conversation lapses. She looks towards the stars, staring pensively at them. There must be something on her mind. Want to talk about it? It seems like there's something on your mind. Leanna faces me and absent-mindedly picks at her clothes.
It's nothing, really. Tonight has been really fun, and Amelia's parents are so nice. It just started to remind me of my family. And then I got thinking.
And you couldn't stop thinking. She nods. I look up at the myriad of sparkling lights in the deep night sky. The stars are still beautiful, but not as clear as when we were camping. We fall into a comfortable silence. Leanna stares intently at the sky as if searching for answers. I wonder what's on her mind. Suddenly, she turns to me.
I promise we'll help you find a way home.
I'm surprised at the conviction in her voice. Oh, thanks. Actually, there's something I've been wondering.
What is it?
I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but why are you doing so much to help a stranger? Leanna stares incomprehensibly.
You were someone who needed help.
Yeah, but you didn't know who I was. What if I'd had other intentions?
Then I suppose things would have turned out differently.
She notices my look and chuckles.
I would never leave someone who needed help. especially if it was in my power to help them. I'm sure if it were me in that position, you'd have done the same.
You're right. I'm not one to walk away from someone who needs help. Leanna smiles. Still, I wonder why she suddenly promised to help me find a way back home. What brought that on?
Sorry, I've just been thinking about home, and how it would feel if I looked at the stars and couldn't recognize a single one.
I can understand how being with Amelia's family can make her homesick. I've been thinking of home too. Maybe I can take her mind off of things for a while. What's that star?
Huh?
She blinks as she takes in my question, then looks back up towards the sky.
Which one?
Ooh, point to the ones that look like a lady. I point to the one that looks like a woman. Leanna squints.
Do you mean Elwina?
If she's that twinkling lady, then yes.
Oh, Elwina was a woman renowned for her beauty.
Well, thanks to you, now I can look at the sky and recognize at least one star. Leanna grins.
Actually, Elwina is also my birth sign.
Oh, look at that. I focus on that cluster of stars again. Birth sign? Oh, hello.
Yeah. There's a belief that the star sign under which you are born can tell certain traits about yourself. Sometimes people use it to predict matches or fortunes.
Imagine someone doing that in the real world? Come on now. That would just be silly. Oh, like our zodiac constellations. We have a similar belief back home. So what does your birth sign say about you?
What do you think?
Patient and trusting. Probably that you're kind and patient and see the good in others. She seems genuinely surprised by my answer.
You think so?
Definitely. She smiles, and this time it looks more natural.
Hopefully this place doesn't feel so lonely and foreign to you anymore.
No, but only because I got the chance to meet you. And the rest of our team. We lock gazes and I feel inexplicably drawn to her. Leanna lights up as she sees something behind me.
Look! A shooting star!
The star rockets across the sky, leaving a trail of glitter. Quick, make a wish! She closes her eyes. After a moment, she reopens them.
What did you wish for?
There we go, come on. I wish that we could spend more time together. She's surprised.
You didn't wish to go home?
I know that eventually you'll help me find a way back home, but in the meantime, it's really not so bad being stuck on a new planet with someone like you. She blushes. So what did you wish for?
Oh, I wish to continue going on adventures.
Oh, well, see? Simpatico. I grin. That's fine with me. As long as I don't have to watch you attempt to flirt again. Wow. Leanna's face flushes.
That's not fair. I was put on the spot.
I laugh. Isn't that how all flirting works? Leanna pouts.
No, it would have been a lot different if I were more prepared.
If I had had my flowcharts and my graphs with me? Oh yeah? How would you have done it then?
That's still putting me on the spot, but...
She blushes again.
Well...
She lowers her eyes to compose herself, then flashes me a confident look.
Let's see. First, I'd begin by telling him how handsome he looks tonight.
Oh.
Maybe then I'd compliment his muscles, which would give me an excuse to touch them.
Her hand lightly rubs at my arm as she gives me a look of appreciation. Although her cheeks are still burning, this is nothing like the awkward Leanna from before.
I'd step closer to him.
My heart quickens as she closes the distance.
Then I'd have him hold me like this.
She guides my hands with hers and places them on her hips. I resist letting my hands wander. She snakes her arms around my neck.
And then...
I can feel her breath on my lips. She leans in until her full lips are an inch away from my own.
Say...
I close my eyes as I feel her lean into me. Her breath teases me as she stays just out of reach.
Good night.
Gah! Wait, what? I open my eyes just as Leanna disengages from me. What just happened? All I can do is stare at her as the blood rushes back to my brain. I don't even know what just happened. What? She looks back at me and grins.
It's getting late. Good night. I'll see you in the morning.
Good night. She disappears from view, and I'm left in desperate need of a cold shower, wondering what the hell just happened. I return to my room and crawl back into bed. My mind is filled with even more thoughts and questions than before. Eventually, after many thoughts of cold showers, I drift to sleep. The next morning, we wake up early like usual. After getting ready and packing my things, I meet the rest of the team downstairs. Amelia's parents wait for us by the door as we finish gathering our things. Her mother's lip trembles as she watches us pack.
Are you sure you need to leave so soon?
Leanna smiles softly.
I wish we could stay longer, but we must be going. Thank you very much for your hospitality.
Of course. You're all welcome here at any time.
Amelia's mom hands us parcels. Ooh!
I packed all of you some food for your journey.
Oh, we couldn't possibly.
She tuts and forces the parcels into her hands.
I won't take no for an answer.
Amelia packs hers without protest, and the rest of us follow suit. We turn to her family one last time before leaving.
Thank you again.
It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, it was very nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Farewell, Mother. Father.
Her mother squeezes each of us in one big hug. When she hugs Leanna, she pauses.
Please take care of our daughter.
I will.
After one final goodbye, we leave their house and make our way back towards the town. We pass the inn and other shops, but we don't make any stops. Eventually, we pass through the town gates. We continue down the familiar dirt paths surrounded by greenery. Most of our journey is uneventful. I've become more accustomed to the walking and the silences, but I still wish the journeys to our destination weren't so long. It can get pretty boring. Just as I think that, something darts in front of me. Let's catch it. Whoa! I lunge for whatever it is, and my hands brush against its fur as I reach for its tail. It evades my grasp and hops into a bush. The pongo waddles over to the bush and watches it curiously.
Boy?
The bush remains still. The pongo cocks its head to the side.
Boy?
Then he sticks his head into the bush. He immediately retreats as a claw swipes at him. He rushes back to me and hides behind my leg.
Boy.
He huffs. I mean, you did just go and bother it. The pongo pouts, looking betrayed.
Boy.
Sorry, Pongo. You know I've always got your back. He perks up.
Boy.
So, what was that thing?
It's a sabali.
Ah, of course. Leanna seems more excited than usual to see an animal. What's that?
Basically an overgrown rodent.
Untrue. Sabali are not part of the rodent family.
They're way cuter than rodents.
I didn't get a very good look at the thing when it raced by. But what is it? Because from what I saw, it looked kind of like a baby bear with long claws and a very long tail.
That's a pretty accurate description, actually.
They're very rare. Since you saw one, you're going to have good luck.
Oh, good. Zach looks unimpressed.
I don't see how lucky it can be if it almost tripped him up.
Well, they tend to hide from people. If one lets you spot it, then that must mean you're special.
Such superstitions originated back when primitive societies were learning to recognize dangerous species from harmless ones. Because the sabali feed on insects and small rodents many would deem to be pests, they are recognized as a harmless and even helpful animal. As such, many humans wish to domesticate them as pets. But the sabali are timid creatures and shy away from most other animals, especially ones which are considered threatening. Thus, the sabali were regarded as lucky due to the difficult nature of witnessing one. In reality, there is no luck involved.
I see. Kara pouts playfully at Amelia.
Aw, come on, Amy. Let them keep their superstitions.
Amelia's eyes widen.
Amy?
Sure, that's your name, right? It's what your parents called you.
It is, but
Amelia pauses, then seems to regain her composure.
my name is Amelia.
Does calling you Amy bother you?
Amelia seems uncertain.
I did not mean to imply that it is a bother. It is merely a surprise.
Aw, well, don't worry, Amy. It's a cute name.
Amelia fidgets as Leanna calls her Amy. She tries to speak, but for once seems flustered.
Well, it seems that...
Let's leave Amy alone and move on.
We stare at Zach.
What?
You called her Amy.
It's shorter than 3 syllables. Why wouldn't I call her that if she's okay with it?
Amelia sighs.
Well, if that is what you prefer, then I suppose you may call me as such.
There we go. Aww. Kara grins and pats Amelia on the head.
I knew you'd come around.
Amelia at first blinks in confusion. As Kara continues to head pat her, she doesn't really seem to know what to do with herself. Eventually, she just lets it happen. Although Amelia tries to act cool, the touch of pink in her cheeks gives away her true thoughts. I think she likes the nickname. I like the name Amy. I think it suits you.
That is fortunate, as I believe that is how the group will refer to me from now on.
Anyway, let's get going.
Yes. We resume our journey. For the next 3 days, we travel on foot during the day and make camp at night. Leanna continues my casting trainings, but I've made no progress. I've begun to feel discouraged, and although she tries hard to hide it, I can sense the frustration Leanna feels. Why am I having such a difficult time casting? There must be something I'm missing. Since Leanna won't give up on my trainings, I resolve to push past my disappointment and continue to focus myself. On the 4th day, we travel the entire day and set up camp in the evening. Okay, you know what, guys? It has been an extra long episode today, so I'm going to call it here now that we've made camp. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you guys all next time. Peace out!